Hey tubers, welcome back for another adventure. So this barn exists just over my property line. I've mentioned the story about how my property was the first lot of a subdivision, and the remaining acreage, they were going to put a bunch of houses on it, but then found turtles and wetlands and all kinds of other stuff, and they're not being allowed to build the housing development they want. In addition, they would make them put in a road and some utilities, and given that you can only squeeze about 5 houses on the property, it's just not going to work. The numbers don't work out. Even if you got the property for free, the cost of the road, the engineering, the improvements and all that would go beyond the $150,000 each of the individual 5 lots would be worth. Specifically, I was asked to shoot some video of this old Ranger pickup truck. If you see me like hop around and act like a fool, it's because I startled some animal that's around here somewhere. Anyway, this thing, I actually drove it back here, so it does run that much. This is I believe it's a 94. Ow. Yeah, my wrist still isn't what it needs to be. It is, yeah, it's a 94. I don't know if you guys could see through all the stuff there. What's wrong with it? It's got a couple 100,000 miles on it. I don't know how much of this you guys could see. It leaks oil very badly. It's got a broken windshield, you know, tires, brakes, all that kind of stuff. But it does start, run, and move. Oh, the alternator's also seized. I don't know if somebody had to absolutely have it. Let me just show you the corners of it. I'm sure that some kind of deal could be made. I was keeping it around for parts for my Ranger, but I mean, you can see it's stoved in a little bit. You got some rust there. Actually, the bed's in halfway decent shape. I mean, if one wanted to put a whole lot of time and money and turn it into something cool, I'm sure they could. The nice thing about this truck here in New York, and it is one of the reasons why I've kind of held on to it to some, here in New York, 95 and older, you don't have to go through an emissions check. It's just a safety check. You don't have, the computer isn't such that you have to plug into it and get an okay from Albany to give you a sticker. So that makes it a lot easier, you know, obviously, to get through inspection and so forth. Yeah, I don't know how long this part of the barn is going to stand. I guess you got stuff like trees pushing up against it and everything else. The mistake they made for the rest of the pole barn, and the reason why it collapsed, is you see the way those roof trusses, they're just nailed to the down piling. I mean, in this case, they added the extra 2x4s to support it on, but for the rest of the barn they didn't do that. They just nailed them up. And one doesn't realize when you have such a big structure like this, or really any structure, as the wind blows on it, it rocks and moves. And you could just picture over time how those 16 penny nails just work their way out. And then gradually gradually, once they work their way free, you know, the poles push out, the roof collapses, and it's all done. So anyway, that's the story on the old truck, and there's a story on the barn. I'm only wearing sneakers, so I'm a little hesitant, because sometimes as you're coming in here, you know, you step on a nail and you end up with acupuncture of the foot. That's what the rest of it. This place was used for horses. There were not cows here, there were horses here. I think the barn, I don't think the barn's all that much older than the house. I think the barn was built in 65, so that makes it, what, 35 and 20? You know, the barn's somewhere 40, 45 years old. If anybody is dying for an old Corolla, we could probably work out a deal on this one also. What's wrong with it is it's got rust. It's failing emissions for the vapor line, which means you probably have some rust on. There's an evap line that goes from the back up to the engine. It's probably shot, so that needs to be troubleshot. The power steering is shot on this one, and it's thrown the belt. The power steering pump's actually completely shot, so you can't keep a belt on it any longer. And it has 250,000 miles on it, so it's pretty much done. I was going to put this on Craigslist and just kind of see if I couldn't sell it as a yard car, you know, or, you know, I guess there are people for dirt tracks who actually race these things around. So if somebody wouldn't have to put much money into getting it drivable for that type of stuff. Yeah, I want to clear out some stuff here. I had someone who offered me money for the Boland's crew, and as a matter of fact, we even settled upon a price. I just need him to come here and pick them up, because if the 4 of these leave, it opens up another 2 spaces in the upper garage, and it gets some stuff out of the backyard. And getting stuff out of the backyard helps get my wife off my cage. And, you know, every once in a while, it's good to be able to look out of one's cage and have a full view without the wife rattling it. So that would be a good thing. So no, there are no Hondas currently for sale. You have to for me to part with the Honda, it's very, very hard. I really have to be convinced that it's the best thing in the world for that Honda for me to part with one of those. So anyhow, I hope the person who asked is satisfied with the barn and truck video, and I hope the person who wants those Boland's tractors gets right back to me and wants to come after them real soon, like Saturday. Flea markets are coming, which means I need some money and I need some space, and getting those 4 gone would be a good thing. I have to do something to make better use of this blacktop up here also. Alright, everyone, I want to thank you for coming by to watch and comment. I want to thank everyone who subscribed, all my new subscribers. You know how to let me know if you liked or disliked this video, and please do. Anyway, take care now. Bye.